What's up guys, Broshi here, and today we are going to do a review over Final Fantasy VII, the new remake, and just get right into it so that you know what you're buying if you want to get it. Overview time. There's been a lot of debate about this game. Final Fantasy VII, how does it compare to the first one? Why is it only the Midgar session of the game and not the entire thing? And like, what are the changes and differences? I will say this is gonna dabble into spoiler areas, so please, before you watch this video, if you don't want to get spoiled, just go to another one of my videos. But for now, spoiler warning. The story of the new Final Fantasy remake takes place in the Midgar section of the game, basically from when Cloud first shows up on the train all the way to them leaving Midgar on the motorcycles. And that entire time span is incredible because really, I went back to play the original game and I was blown away by how much they really turned 2 or 3 hours in the first game into a full-fledged, like, fully realized city. These are like fanboys of Final Fantasy VII making the remake, because you have to have a great imagination and creativity to even push for that. And the thing is, when you think of Final Fantasy VII, the original, or when I think of it, Midgar has so many epic moments that I remember so vividly. In fact, I think a lot of people, and me specifically, before my big brothers would help me out, I would get stuck in Midgar for forever and not know how to get out. Nowadays, it's easier with guides, etc., or just like, you know, I'm like older and I'm not like a 10-year-old kid. But that being said, they really like dive deep into every aspect of Midgar, and I think that's beautiful because now I remember those scenes, those moments even more vividly, and it showcases why Midgar is so important, like more than before. Because before it's like you're like, all right, this is a crappy town, let's go to the next town, you know, this is like the introduction to town. But no, this is like the town that's destroying the planet in the remake, and you're like, yes, this is like the hub of the world. And so then you go on this journey with all the classic characters, and they explore the storylines of individual characters so well. I feel like a lot of people didn't like certain aspects of it, but I just can't complain, honestly, because I play JRPGs all the time, and I'm letting you know, like, the way that this game plays is spectacular. So that's what we're going to talk about next, the gameplay. Gameplay. So, how does it play going from screen to screen? There are some load times, but it's not ever too bad. I will say it feels like a movie. When I picked up this game, I did not really expect or have too much like expectations, because I didn't want to get sad about it, because it's so easy to play a remake and be like, oh man, this sucks. But this time, it felt like I was playing a game. You remember that Final Fantasy VII movie that came out a couple years ago? I felt like I was in that movie, but playing this game, because no matter where you go, it's so beautiful, and they literally script every scene to play out to where it's showing like cinematic shots of the world, the characters, Cloud, Aerith, Tifa, Barret, all of them, and you can't help but feel, because like it's like you're on an emotional roller coaster with all of them, and you're seeing the growth of these characters in a way that's never been done before. We truly are in the next gen of video games. We're done with the pixelated art of the PlayStation 1. I don't care what you say, man. Like, as fun and cute as it was limitation as to why they had that kind of art, the polygon art in the first Final Fantasy VII. But now to see it fully realized for the remake, man, I could never go back. I would say I'm playing back to the original, but if I had a choice, I would choose the remake every time, just because of the storytelling aspect. It's so much more fleshed out because of this gameplay. You walk around, you fight, you talk to people. It's just so, the ambience of the game it's all there. And there's nothing not to love. You walk around in the details of the characters talking to each other, the crowds talking to each other, how everybody has their own story. You can look at an NPC and be like, dude, this NPC looks really sad or really happy or really angry, and there's a story behind it. Every little NPC has a little story if you're willing to look deeper in and actually like look at their characters. And that just shows the love and attention to details the creator and Nomura's team had when approaching this project. But most importantly, every JRPG has to do this right, the battle system. How did I feel about it? I thought the battle system was really solid. I think the whole series of Final Fantasy has really had a kind of a problem transitioning to what to do next in this next gen as far as battle system wise. You know, they know it can't be turn-based anymore, mostly, but they know people love that aspect, the old school players. But with new people who are playing the games, they won't be as easy to pick up those old habits. So I think they did a really good job with the ATB system where, like, yes, it's turn-based in a way to use your magic system, to use like your special skills, but as far as like just hitting with normal and heavy attacks, that's normal. I didn't have a hard time with too many of the bosses, and I felt like the AI for your sidekicks, for your partners, your team was pretty good. I liked how every character had their own playstyle, and I found myself switching between all the characters simultaneously, using their special moves, going to the next one, using a magic move, going to the next one, and it's like so fast and fluid. By the end of the game, I felt like I was a master. I felt like I was so good. It was just like really fun. And so if anything, the battle system is really fun. It doesn't get repetitive to me, but I'm used to grinding in action JRPGs. I'm used to like fighting thousands of battles, because to me that is fun. I like just leveling up. I think that's like the sauce, man. If the game it doesn't need that, if it's not hard, then you're not playing the right game. I will say though, one thing I didn't like about the magic ability is that and this is specific to the ice one, okay? Whenever it hits the enemy, it doesn't freeze the enemy immediately. In fact, it just stays there like a block, and then the enemy moves away and it blows up and it doesn't hit anybody. That's happened hundreds of times in my playthrough, and it was so irritating every single time. Because when you use the ice move, ice hits the character, at least it should at least freeze them for like 3 seconds, right? But it didn't, and yeah, that's pretty much one of my biggest complaints. Otherwise, I use lightning a lot. I use the fireball technique, though that would miss sometimes, but that kind of makes sense. It's a fireball. I like how real it is, but man, I should freeze something, man. Jeez. Now we're gonna break down the story and plot. We already kind of dabbled with this from the beginning. It is the Midgar section, but I will say that we have characters like Jessie, Wedge, and Biggs playing a much bigger role than last time. And a big thing about this game is light and dark, or the ghost, the whispers that come in, and they are what's different from the original and the remake. And the whispers are basically what dictates fate in this game, you know, and like destiny and who's gonna win, who's gonna lose, and keeping that timeline right. So basically the original Final Fantasy VII has a very specific timeline where Aerith, you know, she dies and you get sad, and other characters go through their stage, right? I think even in a part, you know, Cloud kind of gets in a wheelchair, whatever. But like, this is all spoiler territory, so if you haven't played it, please play the game, okay? Last warning, Zack might be alive, and if you don't know who Zack is Cloud's mentor, one of his good friends that gave him the Buster Sword after he died. And so in the original Final Fantasy, Zack died, but in this one, he actually gets up, picks up Cloud after fighting all those soldiers, and walks back to Midgar, which is insane. And this all happens whenever you fight the last boss in the game, which is like the deity of fate, the whispers all connected together, and you destroy it. It kept me on my toes, man. It really makes me want to play the next game, which I think is awesome. I was really surprised at the end when they did the whole Kingdom Hearts kind of like jumping from building to building, and then the fight scene and everything like distorted. And I was like, dang man, Nomura, you gotta do this in every single one of your video games? Jeez. But at the same time, I was like, that's the Nomura flair, man. You can't be surprised. It's like, if you're gonna get Kojima on a video game, you better know there's gonna be some freaking wacky philosophies and just like lifestyles in that game where like everything's a little bit abstract, you know. So the same thing with Nomura. You had the light versus dark, the destiny and fate, and what's happening, you know. As surprised I wasn't mad about it, because I feel like they could have done way worse with this remake in every single way, but they didn't. At least the gameplay is great, at least the story is keen enough, at least the characters all have weight and they matter. Yo, Jessie, she's like wife material, okay? She was so cute in this game, man. It was like, man, she had a good like edge on her more than to Aerith and Tifa. Okay, I can, you probably see what camp I'm in, right? I still like Aerith, she was the first, but like they really did well to explore the characters in this game, and it's something I really appreciate. And so with each characters, there's music, and there's like a jukebox system in the game where you can collect music and play it anywhere on radio systems. I really like all the renditions of the track. They just all make the old tracks come more live, more saturated. And in the PS1 game, I'm playing through that, it's still really good, man. The songs are timeless, they are iconic. So the fact that they were remade, reorchestrated, and refined to be a little bit more saturated and colorful. I just feel like it brings the game more alive. It feels more atmospheric, walking around, interacting with all these people with the classic songs in the background. You can't help but just get a heart tug and be like, oh, I'm a fanboy for Final Fantasy 7 and I'm getting heartstrings. Like, man, I teared up in this game, man. I don't want to show off, like, but like, dude, this game had me on a roller coaster of nostalgia, and I loved it, man. I think the first time I started the game, it's like, and you see the opening screen, and you hear the music come in, and you see the moon and the sword, and you're just like, yeah, I've been waiting for this for like a decade, man. Oh, man, this game is like harks back to childhood and then now where I'm living. I think the original was really a balance of like life force and people abusing that, and Sephiroth, you know, and Midgar really overusing the live stream power. But in this one, the remake, it's really about the choice of following destiny, light and dark, and how your choices can make a difference, and how you have to strive for that, and how even no matter how much it might fight against you, you have to do your best to change destiny. Wherever you're at in life or whatever you're doing, there's hope. Like, you can make that decision daily to be down a different path. It's never too late to change, and I love that because I apply that in my own life. Like, I'm not labeled as this one thing. I can do what I want to, I can do what I need to, and nothing's holding me back other than my own mindsets and what I'm battling in here. And it's the same way the game gives you that option, you know. So I really appreciate that. This is the Final Fantasy VII Remake review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Much love. Peace out.